Welcome back to the Man on the Street show. But before we dive into today's latest video, if I could get you to hit that subscribe button down below and also that notification bell so you can always stay up to date from the latest from me, your Man on the Street. Trump admin sent Hegseth to ceremony for remains of U.S. soldiers while President attends a fundraiser at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump did not attend a Friday ceremony, so this happened, Friday? In Delaware, where U.S. officials accepted the remains of 4 soldiers who died during a training accident in Lithuania last month. Instead, the president has been in Florida, I guess this since last Friday, where he celebrated the beginning of a 3-day tournament of the Saudi-backed Live golf series at one of his golf courses. Then, that Friday night, he went to a fundraising dinner at his Mar-a-Lago estate. And people wonder why I'm always criticizing Donald Trump. Because of things like this. First, his terrorists basically put America in a bad situation with the economy and the stock market tanking, and yet he goes to play golf. Then we had a bunch of bad weather that affected a lot of red states that voted for him, and he decided to go play golf. And then on top of that, these 4 service members returning to the U.S. and seeing what the Lithuanian people did to show their respect to these service members, Donald Trump wants to go play golf.
In the capital city of Lithuania yesterday, thousands of soldiers and dignitaries, and also just ordinary people, lined up in the streets to pay their respects and to honor 4 American soldiers who died in Lithuania this past week during a training exercise. The ceremony was attended by the president of Lithuania, who gave a speech on the occasion. He said that for Lithuanians, serving your country is not just a duty, but an emotion. And you could really see that among the people who gathered. Lithuanian citizens were moved to tears, moved to genuine grief. But again, this was a ceremony for Americans, for American soldiers. Officials arranged for an archbishop to bless the motorcade before it drove to the airport to start the process of returning those remains, returning those soldiers to the U.S.
The Secretary of Defense, this is what their administration said, will represent the dignified transfer for the 4 brave U.S. service members who tragically died during a training exercise in Lithuania. That's what the White House put out. The Trump campaign and conservative media previously criticized Joe Biden for looking at his watch during a dignified transfer ceremony.
Mark, you want to comment on the watch incident? Did you notice the same thing?
Yes, I did. I actually leaned into my son's mother's ear and I said, I swear to God, if he checks his watch one more time, and that was only probably 4 times in, I couldn't look at him anymore after that. Just considering especially the time and why we were there, it was I found to be the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, they're always criticizing somebody else, but this is much worse. Joe Biden was there. I'm not saying that what Joe Biden did, is justifiable, but at least he was there. The president of the United States was there. Your guy rather go play golf. Oh, I got to make sure the Saudis are good to go because I'm going to need their money. Oh, I'm going to make sure that they get their money from this golf tournament. Yeah, let that sink in. But you will have people tell me Donald Trump actually care about the military. Yeah, he cares about them, all right. Also, they say a group of Democratic senators reportedly attended the transfer ceremony at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware, including Senator Minority Whip Dick Durbin and Senator Tammy Duckworth and Chris Coons. The 4 service members who died when their armored vehicle sunk in a peat bog are Troy Nunston Collins, 28, of Battle Creek, Michigan, Jose Dunez Jr., 25, of Joliet, Illinois, Edwin Franco, 25, of Glendale, California, and Dante Dianto, 21, of Didio, Guam. I hope I pronounce y'all names right, my brothers, man. This was somebody wrote, I have never been so embarrassed to be an American than have these last few months, and now Donald Trump is completely disrespecting 4 of my brothers in arms to play golf. And this is coming from a military corps veteran, Blythe Porter, who deployed to Iraq. He told this to a news outlet. Let that sink in. As an American, as somebody who calls himself a patriot, I would feel ashamed as well. You should feel ashamed as well. This is the ultimate disrespect to these service members. But MAGA, hey, we sent Pete there. The Secretary of Defense, he can handle it. No, the President of the United States should have been there. The President of Lithuania showed their utmost respect to these service members. But yet, the Commander-in-Chief himself couldn't do the same. These young men deserve the utmost respect from the highest person or the highest job in our land, which is the President of the United States. But old number 47 rather go play golf and go to a fundraiser than meet these young men bodies back at Dover and show them the ultimate respect that they truly deserve. Trump attended a less dignified transfer ceremony that was typically during his first term and reportedly avoided such events for nearly 2 years after a father of a dead Navy SEAL berated him for a raid gone wrong in Yemen that killed his son. Oh, yeah. The last of the remains of U.S. soldier was discovered on Tuesday following intensive search and recovery effort involving U.S., Lithuanian, and Polish authorities. So they want to make sure that those service member bodies was recovered and brought back to the U.S. Like I said before, Lithuanian people showed those service members the utmost respect, but the President of the United States could care less because he'd rather go golfing. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, these service members lost their life in a tragic accident in Lithuania, but the Lithuanian people showed the utmost respect to the service members for their bodies were returned here to the United States. Even though, Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth was there to get these young men's bodies back in a dignified way, the President of the United States didn't feel that way. He felt as though that a golf tournament was more important than receiving these young men's bodies back here in a dignified way. He'd rather go to a fundraiser for a golf tournament than to receive these young men's bodies back in a dignified way. Yeah, like I said before, this just shows how little respect he has for the military and those that give their life in defense of this great nation. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this situation. The man on the street wants to know.